yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. They'll take for fair to see. Rage is like a wind, spread into the streets. It's time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Flip gods into weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make great.
All right, guys, let's get this party started. If you want a reading, be sure and visit my stand store. It is linked in the description below. And as always, we have a fair use, a disclaimer. As you come in, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share the video if you like it. Let's get it going. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Astrology for Mystics. I'm your host, Jennifer Jennings. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. As the thumbnail states, Ceres is right there on Sebastian's midheaven in Virgo. Sebastian actually has Ceres in the 10th house of Virgo, but a lot of you may not know what Ceres even is. Everything that I read in astrology is based on myth, stories that have been told for thousands of years. And these stories, like Ceres, is where our the word cereal comes from. Cereal is named after Ceres. A lot of our language is based on the mythos. And I think that a lot of people don't really realize that. But it's true. It's true. The human anatomy, same thing. Based on my studies, Ceres is not just about agriculture, but she's also about religion. So I want to first take a minute and discuss what the myth is. Ceres is Roman, and her Roman counterpart is Demeter. This story is basically the same. The Roman myths, basically, I won't say that they stole it from the Greeks, but they did. All of the myths are hand-me-downs from a root origin. Ceres was the mother of Persephone, who was abducted by Hades. Hades saw that Persephone just looked so cute and everything, picking flowers, and he wanted her for his own. And so he took her. And the myth goes that Ceres mourned. And Zeus ends up making a deal with Hades. Persephone gets Ceres half the time. I'm sorry, Ceres gets Persephone half the time, and Hades gets her half the time. So when Persephone is not with Ceres, she's in mourning. And it's winter. The seasons are now barren because winter, the crops aren't growing, right? And if y'all remember, Sebastian was given an award for agriculture. He studied agriculture and he was given an award. Do y'all remember that? I think the award was actually given to his father. So, Ceres in Virgo is about the fine details. Virgo is ruled by the sixth house. It's your everyday house, your routines. And Sebastian needed his routine. I mean, most of us do, right? But Virgo does rule that sixth house. And when Sebastian went missing, the moon was in Virgo. So we do need to look at these Virgo aspects. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. We look to Sebastian's Mercury in his natal chart as well. His Mercury in the first house is Sag. It's a trip that Ceres is coming to sit on his midheaven, and that his Ceres is actually in Virgo in that 10th house, natally. And when he went missing on the 25th, like I said, the moon was in Virgo. By noon the next day on the 26th, the moon has come into Libra. And I'm going to tell you why all of this is making sense to me even more now. I'm going to try to explain it to those of you who are not knowledgeable of the mythos and how they're telling, it can tell a story in our natal chart of things that have happened to Sebastian. So Ceres in Virgo sits in that 10th house. What's the 10th house? It's about his public image. He has Saturn there. And on the 26th, the transiting Saturn that was in Pisces was opposing at the same exact degree. So Sebastian has his Ceres at a 931. Saturn and Pisces came into that 931 in an opposition. What does this mean? This means that by noon the next day, on the 26th, the law enforcement, these agencies that are holding authority, there's some minor details that are coming into fruition that are not adding up, that still don't add up. The timeline. Virgos need a timeline. Virgos need to be, and I say we, I'm a Pisces. What am I talking about? It's not we. But you Virgos know what I'm talking about. Y'all need a timeline. My Mercury is in Pisces. So those of you who have your Mercury in Virgo, we don't think the same about the details. Okay? I'll read a 50-point chart while I'm cooking dinner and talking on the phone. And a Virgo says, no, I need to clean this up. You got too many glyphs here. I can't read all of this. This is too much. Let me tidy it up so I can read the chart. Okay? So that's the differences with Virgo and Pisces axis. And this Virgo Pisces axis was in play. It was in play when Sebastian goes missing. They leave the Texas Roadhouse. The moon is right there on the ascendant, showing that there is definitely a change of fortunes that's taken place. I've studied this boy's chart. I've studied the missing event, and I'm telling you, he lived in a very, very strict home. His self-esteem was not all that great. And it makes me really sad thinking about it. Because no matter what anybody tells me, I know what I know. And I can't unknow that. I know that Sebastian lived in a very strict home. He wasn't seen. Okay? Sebastian wasn't seen. He wasn't heard. And for a teenage boy at 15 years old at the time, he didn't have access to social media like other kids did. Katie had said something about trafficking. Come on, man. No, that's not what happened. And she knows it. Whether or not he made it home or he didn't make it home, Sebastian was living a nightmare with two people who considered him less than. And when we hear them talking, when we hear his mother and his stepfather talking, we can get an idea of what it was like in that household. Very impatient. And Ceres has a lot to do with food too, with agriculture, with farming, with crops. Is Sebastian working on land or is he on land? Still waiting to be found. A rule of thumb would say that Sebastian is not far from his home, right? I mean, that's the rule of thumb would say that. Statistics would say that. Could he beat the statistics? Sure, he could. But the Virgo sun and Mercury retrograde. Yep. Yeah. Thank you, Shauna. I mean, it's going to be days. And let me just tell you Jeff and I were talking about this last night, and I realized something that during this period of time when Ceres is going to sit on the midheaven of Virgo, Sebastian, she's actually going to oppose the home. She's going to oppose the mom with drugs and alcohol and the medications. We definitely need to be talking more about the medications that Sebastian was on, the medications that would be found in the household. And I mean, we could talk about it, but the law enforcement, I still maintain the fact that the law enforcement, and I'm just being hopeful, but they are still looking and analyzing Sebastian's case and the inconsistencies, because everything is fine until we get home. Once Sebastian gets home, there's a lot of inconsistent stories. That's where she messes up. That's where Chris messes up. They don't want to be forthcoming. This is very weird. But this time period, guys, is going to open up a paradigm shift. There is something that is going to come to light. There is going to be a minor detail that could have been overlooked that's going to change everything. Ceres sitting on his midheaven should change everything, especially with the timeline. The timeline with Sebastian going missing is pertinent to finding him. The law enforcement says the lights aren't of any value, and we have been looking at the lights for months and months and months and months. Law enforcement says there's no evidence he made it. Actually, they say that there's no evidence that he left the home. I mean, we even have the sheriff that's now deceased, Weatherford, say, hey, we were even looking in the walls. They were literally wanting to see if Sebastian was in the walls because they can't find any evidence that he left the house. And they think that they have evidence that he made it to the house. So where did he go? Ceres, like I said, is about agriculture, about farmland. And around Sebastian's home, there's farmland. And I want to also put this in your ear too. As bad as I hate to say it, I have to be honest with myself and you guys. Virgo is about your everyday, it's about work. And is ruled by Mercury, so we're not looking far. I'm talking about within 2 miles. If Sebastian were to be deceased and he has not been found, we're looking at 2 miles, less than 2 miles. And if he's far away, well, I'm going to talk about that. When Sebastian gets home, he takes the trash out. and that's his lowest point. Why is it his lowest point at home with his mother when he has to take the trash out? Why? Does he feel like trash? Does his mother make him feel like trash? Is it about his routine, his chores? Did they keep food from him? Because, that's another thing that I think about with Ceres, because Mercury is actually opposing his midheaven during this time when he takes the trash out. Mercury is opposing him. That's communications. That's two people. That's the mind playing tricks on you. Why is him taking the trash out the lowest point at home and opposing his Ceres? Did they keep food from him? What were they doing? What was his home life really like? I have to ask myself these questions because as an astrologer, when I look at his chart, I feel so sad. So we have the myth, and the myth involves an abduction, okay? Where Persephone can stay with her mom half the year and Hades half the year. But when she goes to Hades, we've got wintertime. And here we are, and this is winter. Here we are, and it's winter time, right? It's November. This is Scorpio season. But do you know what else season this is right now? It started November 8th. November 8th through the 21st of November, muzzleloader season, archery season opens up in Tennessee. So from the 8th until the 21st, there's going to be a lot of hunting, lots of hunting. And someone that has mapped the missing for years now, the winter months, when hunting season starts, is a prime time to find the missing if they are deceased in the woods. I'm not saying that that is what is to come. I'm just saying that that is a fact, that you got a lot more people in the woods looking for deer. And when this hunting season, with this hunting season time period, at the same time that Ceres is sitting on Sebastian's midheaven and opposing mom, opposing home, challenging mom and challenging home. This is big. This is a big time period, no matter what is to come, because we are watchers. And I'm trying not to fix, manage, control the narrative here. I'm not trying to say that Sebastian is deceased or alive. I'm just saying all possibilities would need to be discussed. And as an astrologer looking at this, and forensically looking at this as a forensic astrologer who does my own thing, okay? I don't go by no books, what other people have said. I go by observation and what the past experience has shown me with connections with our natal charts, okay? So this time period with Sebastian is a big deal. It's the biggest deal since he's been missing. And the reason why I say that is because Ceres is not just going to sit here for a day or two. It begins tomorrow night and it will not move off of him until the 23rd, and then it's going to come back. Okay. Virgo, this Virgo energy would say that Sebastian shouldn't be far. This Virgo energy would say that it's possible that that new construction has something to do with it. There is a border. There's a border with farmland, and then the land is going to change. That's where we would look for Sebastian. Yeah, and speaking of symbols, we can look to the Sabian symbol. The Sabian symbols too, with that Mercury that Sebastian has at a 22 in Sag. We could be looking at another country, yes, but we could also be looking at neighboring border, a border of a neighborhood going into another neighborhood. Since I've not been feeling good, now I'm on the come up, but when I wasn't feeling good, I was really doing some deep dives forensically, looking at his chart in different ways and doing the progressed, just everything that I can think of to try to find this boy, you know, and thinking about Ceres, and Demeter and the mythology of it all. Demeter is the goddess of the harvest, agriculture, and fertility, and there is that reason why that has been brought up, the disgusting stuff about Sebastian and his mother with the fertility. That's why, is because of this series coming into sit. I mean, we're only a minute away. A 4:55. Well, that's Georgia. There's a lot of things that are taking place in Georgia. Google it. But that 4:56 is Sebastian. And the 4:55 is a minute. So 4 degrees and 55 minutes, 4 degrees and 56 minutes. We're only a minute away. Okay. So we know that Ceres is about harvest, agriculture, and fertility. We know that Ceres or Demeter, whichever one you want to consider, they're both credited with teaching humans how to grow and cultivate grains. They're responsible for the fertility of the earth. We know that it has to do with food, crops, corn, energy, directed energy. I think of Ceres, I think of, if I look at her grand scheme of things, I'm looking at directed energy too. I'm looking at her as a religious person as well. But at the MC, when she sits right there on the MC, y'all, this is where things activate. The things that were not visible are now visible. They become public. The private life is no longer private, it's public. Transiting Chiron right now is squaring Sebastian's progressed Jupiter. Let me break this down for you. There's a truer purpose, something that we are going to learn. There's changes that are taking place right now with Sebastian. The obstacles that were obstacles in the past, he is coming to face them head on. Deceased or alive, This is a time period where, deceased or alive, he would want to make changes in the way that he expressed himself publicly. There's a letting go here as well. Things are ending and beginning with groups. I'm seeing that there are small details that are being overlooked because Virgo is about the smallest of detail, the smallest of detail with the timeline. Virgo energy needs a timeline and it's got to be specific. Morning routines. What was the morning routine with Sebastian and Katie? What was their morning routine? We don't know. What was his medication routine? We don't know. We do know that there's a bunch of conflicting statements. We know that Katie was the last person to see her son. We know that when Sebastian was eating with her at the Texas Roadhouse, he could not even get his own roll. While she's sitting there buttering the rolls and eating, he can't. Very strict household. We know that Chris has anger issues. We can tell that, right? We can tell that he has anger issues. We can tell that money is very important to Katie. It's all about money for her. Yeah, but I mean, according to Katie, we don't know what their morning routine is like as far as, does he eat breakfast? Does he take a shower at night? Does he take a shower in the morning? Does he take his meds before he goes to sleep? Does he take them in the morning? We don't know what his routine is at all. We have no idea. We know that they had him in pull-ups. They demeaned him. They demeaned his character. They made fun of him. There are there is a timeline here. She says they leave the roadhouse, they get home, 15 minutes later, he takes the trash out. Well, guess what? During that time period, the lowest point for Sebastian is at home with his mother. During this time period, there can be, because Ceres, like I said, is going to sit here for days. So during this time period, we may, okay, it's likely that we could expect new information, correction of an existing timeline, more questions and answers about the routine and how she cared for her son. Definitely going to be a shift with the public narrative. We definitely need to focus on the caretaker, who is Katie. The focus is on her. Nobody else. The focus should be on her. We need clarification of all the contradictory information that she gives. Things that are not noticed before could become important now. And there could be breakthroughs based on something that was very small, very minute, and Virgo like schedules, distances between one place and the other, timestamps, phone data. any type of data, whether that be phone or car, vehicle, neighbor cameras, footprints, vehicles, the timing of the vehicles, any type of cleaning and laundry, because look, Virgos are all about tidying up. Cleanliness, right? You think of Virgo, you think of cleanliness. So we got to think about the cleaning products, cleaning the house, bleach, the laundry, because Ceres in Virgo is microscopic. And the MC is where the midheaven is where everybody sees it. Now, when Sebastian goes missing, Ceres was in Capricorn. Ceres in Capricorn. This means that there was an emotional heaviness, a control, a rigid mother. Rigid. Lots of pressure. Lots of stress on her because she wants to be up Chris's ass and smell his farts, okay? Let me just put it like that. The timeline is the most important here. Every little minute detail that she says is very important during this time period while Ceres is sitting on Sebastian's midheaven. All the inconsistencies need to become visible into the public eye. I think that this is going to be a time period where the truth becomes a little bit more clear. Maybe somebody is going to take on the case who hasn't publicly taken over the case just yet. That's going to make Sebastian's case even more visible to the public. Whereas the case can receive sharpened attention to detail. Because Ceres in Virgo doesn't miss a thing. Sebastian was very, or is very, intuitive. So is his dad. Sebastian is very intuitive. He feels it. That Pisces fourth house of home feels everything. He feels anything and everything that his mother doesn't say. He feels lost. He feels not seen. He doesn't feel seen there. There's a lot of cloudiness, a lot of fog that surrounds his home life. Ceres in Virgo can expose the tiniest little cracks in the story. And those little tiny cracks can go viral. It can go to the public eye. Do you understand what I'm saying here? I'm trying my best. Am I making any sense? And if I'm not making any sense to you, where can I help clarify things? Because I really want to try to clarify what I'm trying to say here. Because these changes that Sebastian is going through, whether he is deceased or alive, he's still going through it. He's still going through it no matter what. Look, if there is no after death, then life wouldn't be important. Okay. I mean, we don't just pass away and then that's it. Go into some, limbo, we're not lingering. We're not in limbo. We don't have to be pushed to the light. I mean, we are light. We are photons. We are that. Okay, so Just because someone is deceased, and I've proven this to myself and others for many years. Just because someone would be deceased does not mean that they are not still actively involved in their life after death. And I'm not saying that Sebastian is deceased. I'm just saying that it doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, he is still working things out with his loved ones, there and here. So, forensically speaking, as an astrologer that looks at death and life the same, these small details with his routine and the way that his mother cared for him holds the key to understanding the sequence of events when Sebastian goes missing. He felt a lot of anxiety. He felt a lot of pressure. He was very overwhelmed. There was a change of fortunes that were coming for him, whether on the way home or overnight. And we have to look at these routines, and we have to scrutinize the way that she cared for him with her conflicting statements. And I think that that's where we're going. And now that I've talked about this, I want to show you the chart. Are y'all ready to look at the charts? Are y'all ready for me to show you how many days and what I'm seeing? Because the neighbors here mean something. The neighbors are in this. The law enforcement is in these charts for days. And we need the law enforcement. I'm a YouTuber. I'm an astrologer. I need the law enforcement to take note, to hand the case over to new eyes. New eyes, new fresh eyes need desperately to be on this case. New searches. And when I say new searches, I'm talking about, I don't care where you live. I don't care if you're in Cuba, if you're in Georgia, Alabama, Canada. I don't care where you are. The best thing for you to do is to take these flyers out and talk to people. If Sebastian's deceased, he should be close. And if he's not deceased, then he should be far away. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury stays close to home. Let's do it. Let me show you the charts. Hold on. I'm going to show you different charts here. Hold on. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Let me share my entire screen so I can do some scribbling. All right. Let's do some scribbling here. Oh, let me open this up now. Here we go. Now, okay, I'm going to leave this on 19 points so I don't overwhelm you guys at first. And I want to show you what was taking place when Sebastian left the roadhouse one more time. And I'm going to go over it really quick. And then I'm going to show you. All right, here we go. Let me get my pen up here. Oh, where did it go? Where's my pen? Here we go. Let's put my pen over here so I can do a little scribble. So like I said, the moon is sitting here on the ascendant. So we've got a relationship and the moon that is right there on the ascendant. There's a relationship here. But where's the relationship? It's now in the back. When she leaves, there's a relationship that is sitting back. There's a relationship from the past. There's a relationship, okay? And then we've got the moon. So a past relationship. There's a change of fortunes. There's going to be a lot of changes with the health because the moon is opposing relationships here that are very foggy. Very foggy. We can't quite see who they are because Neptune is going to fog these relationships and these partnerships. And we see Mercury is at a 454 in Pisces. This is in the 6th house of health. Limits and obstacles with communications, with the thinking. There's a miscommunication here. In my opinion, they're not getting along. There's a lot of tension. They're not getting along. And I would say that Sebastian is still upset because he wasn't able to bowl. He thought he was going to get to bowl that day. He wasn't able to bowl. He's still upset. And in my opinion, he doesn't like the way he's being treated. The way that she is talking to him. He feels less than. And there's about to be a shakeup with his health because his natal Uranus is in 1846 in Pisces. And so Uranus is going to shake things up with his health. And it has to do with medications or not taking the medication. So that's why the medications are important with this timeline. When did he take them? When did he usually take them? There's things that are being shaken up with the state of Tennessee at this hour. There's a letting go. There's a betrayal. Tennessee has a 1928 with Sedna and Pisces. That means betrayal. There's a betrayal. It's taking place and it's shaking things up with travel, with grandparents, with religion, with church, with learning, with God. When he gets home, 15 minutes later, she said, because I give her 9 minutes to get home, then I add 15 more minutes onto it. And this is the chart. Now we are at 6:48. Now we are at 6:48, and you can see that this 4:56, okay? Let's go ahead and let's do a bi wheel because I'm going to show you. Sebastian's going to be the first. Him taking out the trash is the second wheel. Y'all aren't used to seeing this. Y'all are used to seeing a dual wheel. But this is going to be a bi wheel. So this is Sebastian's natal chart here. This is the current transits when he takes out the trash on the second. Okay, so the second outer wheel, but this is still Sebastian. Okay, these degrees are still Sebastian. But look, Mercury is sitting at a 456. So Mercury is sitting here. What does that mean, Jennifer? Well, what that means is that his lowest point at home is with thinking, with communications, with the mind, as he takes out the trash. What else can Mercury represent? Ring cam, and ring cam. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? And Mercury is already opposing this series. It's already opposing it. Saturn is already opposing this series. It's about food. It's about nurturing. It's about caring. The caretaker. Who's the caretaker? It's Katie. Katie's with him. So to bring up Chris or to bring up Seth at this moment is a distraction, and it defeats the entire purpose of talking about Sebastian, looking for Sebastian, because his mother is no caretaker when it comes to this transiting Sebastian's lowest point at home. This is his IC. So your IC is the lowest point. If you're standing here, okay, I don't draw that great, but let's say you're standing here, right? You got your hands. Your hands are present up here. Your feet are down here. There's no grounding because the mind, the ring cameras, all of that are foggy. This is where the grainy video comes in. It's foggy. We can't see if that's Sebastian or not. That's what his dad says. I can't tell if it's Sebastian. I can't tell if that's him or not. And you see that his 1846 Uranus is right here. Hygeia is the purity of health. She is all about health. And all of this right here is opposing Sebastian, his public image, his his future, his fame, his work, the way he sees himself. He sees himself as very small during this period of time when he takes out the trash. That's why I asked, does he think that he's trash? Because he's always treated like trash? At home? And then he gets this shakeup. There's a shakeup here with his health. There's a shakeup here, guys. Uranus, when Uranus comes around and shakes your ass up, and you call on me, I'm going to tell you, you've been shaken up. His health is being shaken up here. There's limits and obstacles with all authority in his health at home. And Pisces is about drugs, the medications. You can say, well, it's also about water. Yeah, but you know what? This Virgo axis right here, and with theories being involved, makes me feel like there would be very little water. If he is deceased and we find him, I would say that he's going to be found in very little water. It could be a creek, the outer bank of a creek, a culvert, okay? But it would be very little water. This moon is showing us that Sebastian natally has a very strict mother, a strict household, a strict home, possibly abusive and impatient, very impatient with him. There's a lot of aggression. And all you have to do is listen to any, any one of Chris's interviews, and you can hear it. And birds of a feather flock together. That girl is just as mean, if not meaner, when she's not able to smell his farts at home. That's the way I'm calling it. And I have the right to my opinion. I have the right to my opinion. I have the right to tell you guys that I don't know if Sebastian is alive or deceased, but I can tell you one thing, I'm looking for him with both. I had a call out asking people, "Y'all wanna help search?" I had 4 people reach out to me. That's not enough to walk the creeks. We need a whole team. We need a lot of people because that where I'm thinking in the very beginning, in the very beginning, I'm thinking he would be found going east northeast. It's a Taurus. Taurus. This right here. Because there's betrayal. I feel like Sebastian was betrayed. Whether he is deceased or alive, he's been betrayed. Because Sedna is all about betrayal. The story of Sedna is about her father betraying her. She was betrayed by the authority in her life. He wanted her to get married. She didn't want to get married. She leaves. He finds her, cuts her fingers off. She can't hold on to the boat because he cuts her fingers off. She floats to the bottom of the sea, and there she is, realizing that it's better. Her life is much better. Being at one with the sea, being at one with life. But the story is definitely about betrayal and her letting go. And I bring that up because the state of Tennessee has a 1928 in their chart. So there's a connection that's being made with the health. But this is about the earth. This isn't about containment. This is about the earth, the resources of the earth. Taurus is about the resources, the public works, utilities. And in the sixth house, it's about a shakeup. And there's an expansion here with the shakeup because anything that Jupiter touches, it expands. Any astrologer will tell you that. Anything that Jupiter touches is going to expand. Are we talking about money? Are we talking about the values? Are we talking about the earth, the new construction, farmland? You see, Sebastian wasn't caught on any video. No video. And the only video that he was caught on, his father says, is grainy. So we have a lot of challenges. You know, we have a lot of challenges. And the fact is that his health gets shaken up. And let's look at that. Because when his health gets shaken up, it's when Hygeia sits on that 1846 Uranus, but it's already in orb. We can already see it being shaken up. It's already being shaken up, okay? It's being shaken up with people that are in and out of the roadhouse. Okay. It's already done. It's already been, yeah. Now let's look at this. Hold on. Let me backtrack. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm seeing here. This is the wake-up call that Sebastian gets before he goes to eat. Okay, before he goes to eat, they are at the strike and spare. And this is where he gets a wake-up call, a little shaky shake. With his midheaven and his IC, it's making contact in Sag. That 456 is important, right? Because that's his midheaven, it's his IC degree. And so he learned something. Sagittarius, he's learning something. What's he learning? He's learning that he can't bowl. He can't bowl. Why can't he bowl? You ask? Well, because there was a tournament going on. So that's a no-go. It's a no-go. He can't bowl. So he is being his natal chart's being contacted. Katie's is being contacted right here. I mean, I know her chart. I'm not going to pull it up. I'm just telling you I know it. And then here is his dad. This 2751 is his all the problems with competition, with groups, all those problems are now surreal. He gets a shakeup. So then we go here. Mercury comes to that 456. And then let's go back and find out exactly what time his health was shaken up, because this is about the time that he should be taking medications that shake him up. Uranus, medically speaking, could rule your central nervous system, your circulatory system. It is also, Uranus is also about groups, right? But your circulatory system, the nervous system, this is what could be in play right here. So he takes the trash out, and then he gets a wake up. He gets a shake up right here. So now we're at 7:09 p.m. So that is, let's see. So it's about 10 minutes. So 6:50 to 10 after 7. So we got about 20 minutes here. So 20 minutes goes by after he takes the trash out. 20 minutes later, he is shaken up. It's in full-fledged. Now we have Hygeia, and she has come to that 1846 right there. That's where his health is being shaken up. This is all health, y'all. This sixth house is health. It's his everyday thinking. This is the routine. This is the timeline that matters the most. All of that Pisces here, all of it is there. Now the moon has come to the 12th house. So now there's things of the past. Now it's everything is in the past, with relationships, with health. And it's critical. Look, it's critical. I mean, that's 2952 is showing that it's critical on the child for the future health. It's critical. This 951, no matter what time Chris Proudfoot is born, he has a 951 in his chart. It's critical with his work. It's critical with the vehicle. It's critical with lights, camera, action for the future. Everything is critical now. They haven't gotten on the phone yet. Allegedly, they don't get on the phone until 9 o'clock, so they're not on the phone yet. Something's happening. Something is shaking Sebastian up. And like I said, Saturn, the sun, Mercury is opposing Sebastian in that 10th house series. But the health and Neptune, well, that's opposing his Saturn. What's his Saturn? The authority in his life. Work, public image, dad, stepdad, grandfather, any type of authority. Police, even police. Yes, medication is very important. The medication is very important here. Every detail that the police were able to gather from Katie is very important. This timeline, when she gets home, him taking out the trash, medications, this is so important. So important. Because there's a shakeup with his health. Sure is a shakeup. So Sebastian in his natal chart, his Saturn is a 21 in Virgo. Okay, so the Saturn, let me show you, hold on. The Saturn is a 21-degree, Ceres is a 9-degree, and his midheaven is a 4. This is where Ceres is coming for days. And I'm about to show y'all when this is going to take place, and we're going to talk it out. His health is Taurus. His everyday routine is Taurus. Taurus is ruled by this second house, okay? Taurus is ruled by Venus. That's his health. But Ceres and his Saturn up here, this Virgo energy is ruled by Mercury. And here is his Mercury. It's a 2212. When he gets shaken up at home, let me show you what the data says. You have a busy, unusual, and unconventional home life. As a child, you may have experienced sudden changes in the home environment. As an adult, you seek unusual homes. So, if he is alive, he is with a group, possibly. Because Aquarius likes groups, but it also likes to be alone. So, but it would definitely be unusual. He's in an unusual home, possibly a motor coach, a camper, something unusual. He's in an unusual home. It's also showing us that unexpected changes that are sudden with his health can take place. Unexpected. We're not expecting it. It's sudden. It happens suddenly. Happens suddenly with his health. Let's look at the Uranus. Let me pull this chart another way so you can see the grid. The grid is over here. And so his Mercury, I want to show you that Mercury is squaring up with Saturn. And it squares Uranus. So that's why I'm saying that this Mercury and the Sabian symbol of the Mercury is very important. And it's not just that, but it's also about the videos. Any type of ring cameras, any of the neighbors' ring cameras, because Mercury is ruling the neighborhood, the neighbors, the children in the neighborhood, communications, anything having to do with communications. That's why the Secret Service is involved in this case, because they are pertinent to solving the case because of the issues that are surrounding his missing event that have to do with communications, all types of communications. We can see that his Mars, okay, right? Because the Mars is in transit, actually, let me say that another way. That 1516 is going to come into play. His Vulcan that you don't see here is a 1614. So the 1614 degree, the 1516 degree is very important because in the middle of the night, there's a relationship and a disordered aggression, a darkness that comes over this Mars with a relationship. There's a relationship here. There's no doubt about it. There's a relationship involved. Whether we are looking at whoever, there's a relationship here. So this Mercury, okay, is squaring up. The sun, the way he shines, is squaring up with Saturn and Uranus, this opposition, and Mars. Mars is also squaring up with these two, and they're in opposition from each other. Okay, so this is a major opposition here for Sebastian. This Pisces Virgo axis is very important. On the map, this goes to Melissa's. This goes down to the river. Ceres goes to Georgia. On the map, Ceres, his natal Ceres goes to Georgia, where Francis Rosenbaum was born, where Katie has associates, where Miss Betty, 3 days later after Sebastian goes missing, says that she saw him walking with a group of men that were homeless. On the side of the road. And I'm going to show you guys that. We'll show you that. Because there's a lot of challenges with this Mercury, with his first house. There's a lot of challenges here. And so the traditional Mercury is going to say, hey, I'm close. But because Mercury is so afflicted, it's, the mind can play tricks on you. Maybe he didn't make it home after all. Maybe he's in an unusual home. Maybe he's in a campsite somewhere. There's a lot to consider. And there's a lot to consider for the law enforcement, I'm sure. And so we look at this. We look at Ceres now and see how Ceres is aspected. Ceres is in a square with Hygeia. So his Hygeia is here, okay? And this is Ceres. That's who that's the main player here, Ceres. That's who we really want to focus on. At the end of the day, we want to focus on those routines with his medications, with his mother, who was supposed to be caring for him. There's a square here. Again, Gemini is ruled by Mercury. But Mercury is afflicted, right? Because Mercury is in Sag. Mercury rules Gemini. So Mercury being in Sag isn't all that great. We got two people here that bring a shakeup to his health, to his mental health, actually. This is mental. This is the mental health. There's a conspiracy surrounding this mental health with two people, and it affects his health in a major way. It brings a shakeup. mentally. The way that people communicate with him is surreal because he feels it on so many levels. He's very intuitive. This fourth house of home is showing a very intuitive human being, very intuitive. So we're looking at communications in two people, and there's a major problem here. We got problems throughout life with two people and the way that they care for him because Ceres is about caring. She's about the energy that we can transmute, our emotional well-being, the healing that we would get, and the healing that he could get from food, the problems that he can get from food, the allergies that he could have from food, the way it messes with his thinking with food, and also the way he competes, the way that he thinks, the way that he shines. And it definitely is shaking up his health. Ceres, obviously, is not just going to square up right here with Hygeia, but also Pallas. Pallas is the investigator. Pallas wants to investigate things. Would he be listening in on their conversation? You betcha. Can he get anything past Sebastian? Nope. No, I wouldn't think so. I think he could walk into a room and feel him. He knows what he knows. And he is very competitive as well. He's competitive. I can see that with the sun conjunct Mars. That's a competition. It could even pose as accident prone. And the sun is definitely the way he shines opposes two people, the communications. And that's the biggest problem that we have, right? With this case with Sebastian is the way in which the communications are not showing Sebastian in the neighborhood. He has no shoes on, and we are supposed to believe that he went out playing light tag with some neighborhood kids that aren't seen on any cameras. That's a no-go. I mean, come on. We got to use our we got to use our brain here. We have to be logical. That makes no sense. Makes zero sense. And the fact of the matter is that a car is in opposition. We have an opposition, so we want to look at this opposition because there is a car that people think that is picking Sebastian up in the middle of the night. If he made it home and there's something that took place with his health, with his mother, and there's a vehicle that came that the law enforcement has not accounted for, it is because the ring cameras are not picking it up or they are not doing their due diligence. As they have said that they have talked to every driver. They've talked to every driver. Well, one of them is lying to you. You got plate readers for days. You got businesses for days. Where's Sebastian? Right? Exactly, Hillbilly Express. There's no way. The only way that he would have ran out that house, out that front door, is if he was running for his life without shoes. The law enforcement says, well, we don't know for sure that he didn't have shoes on. Okay, well, all of his shoes are accounted for, though. They're all accounted for. His Pluto, Sebastian's Pluto in the second house is in Capricorn. However, this second house is ruled by Sag. That means you have to layer. Astrology is all about layering, okay? It's all about layering. We have to take the Sag energy, couple it with the Capricorn energy. So we have to think about religion. We have to think about grandparents. We have to think about a higher learning, a mental exploration, going far, a quick movement of energy. That can even be the radio waves that I'm talking to you on now. You do realize that we are communicating through radio waves. So that can also be radio waves, the radio, dispatch. These are his values, okay? Other cultures, a plane even. Ooh, let's go on an adventure. A plane even. Who has a pilot license? Have they checked the runways? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Who has a pilot license? Have they checked the runways? The private runways? For any clue? With cameras. All right. This Pluto in Capricorn wants to go far, wants to transform the values of Sebastian. Not for his dad. They don't want him to be like his dad. How about that? Let's just say it like that. Major transformation with money. Isn't that what people, are talking about, right? Katie's all mad about dad and money. So this Pluto that he has squares his moon, his mother. Values change. The values are changing because his mother doesn't want him. She wants him to be independent. He's causing problems. She can't be with Chris like she wants to be. Chris can't be at home like he wants to be. So there's a square here. There's a square here. And this 428, I've said it a million times, it goes to Canada. That 428 goes to Canada on the map and goes to Canada. Canada has the 428 in their chart. It's in Leo. It's about kids. It's about their public image with kids, public image with schools and kids. Canada has their Chiron at a 428 in Leo. So it does connect to Canada. There's a square here. So the Pluto, mom's wanting to transform the values of Sebastian. Sebastian connects to Terry Bowersox. Terry Bowersox, no matter what time he's born, he has a connection to Sebastian with his Jupiter. No matter what time he's born. Terry Bowersox has a physician, Apollo, that brings enlightenment about health. That's the 2329, and that is connecting to Terry Bowersox When Sebastian goes missing, the Saturn is coming to slow Terry Bowersox down with work. Where did he work? He worked in Louisville, Kentucky, as far as I know, on motor coach homes. We could even look at this as a motor coach. Different, original, not your everyday type of house. So what's happening? What's happening with Ceres? Well, let me show you this. Ceres is going to come and sit. I mean, I'm gonna put all my points on because this is really boring to look at this chart like that. You Virgos just have to get over it. Excuse me. So what's happening? Let's look at this. So what's going to happen is here's Ceres, and we're gonna put Ceres right now. Ceres is transforming Georgia. Transforming. There's a disordered aggression with Georgia right now. Let's see why. Let's see if we can find out why. Georgia. Let's see. News. What's going on with Georgia? Let's see if we can figure anything out. Because right now there's a disordered aggression and a transformation with Ceres. And Ceres is making contact with Georgia. Georgia prosecutor steps in to oversee Trump election case. The Georgia criminal election interference case against President Trump and a number of his allies entered a new phase on Friday. Well, well, is that a caring? Are we seeing any type of agriculture? No. No, we're not. So let's keep going. Will Georgia get snow in 2025? I mean, maybe, but that was a day ago, so it could be. SNAP benefits. Let's just go ahead and pull up Georgia. That way y'all can see what I'm talking about because I want you to have something to compare this with. Because this is just Ceres isn't sitting on Georgia like it's going to sit on Sebastian. Okay. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. So Georgia has their dark moon here at a 455. Their dark moon is in the first house. This is the first house that's ruled by Aries. So we're having some warring, some competition, and it's about money. It's about money. Because look, she's just making contact. Okay. She's actually right here. Ceres is actually, this girl right here, she is actually right here in the sixth house. And let me just say, Georgia connects to Trump in a big way. All right. In a big way. Big way. And right now, it's not just that Ceres is making contact with the dark moon, but let me tell you something. Jupiter is now in retrograde and is opposing their Saturn. So we have to take all that into consideration. Okay, so it is about how Georgia's bringing in money. It is about the authority. It is about disordered aggression with other people's money. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I can see where Georgia prosecutor steps in to oversee Trump election case. I can see this all day long. And they're talking about winter and SNAP benefits and, other people's money. There's a disordered aggression about it. Never been a woman governor. Ms. Easter's plans to change that. So we can see different ways in which Ceres is working as she makes contact with the dark moon of Georgia. But see, that isn't comparable. It is in a way, but it's not. Okay. Because what's going to happen with Sebastian, though, is Sebastian is going to have Ceres coming sit on his midheaven. It's going to do that for days. I'm about to show you. She's just going to sit here and she's going to oppose the mom. She's going to oppose the home. What home? We don't know. It's an original, different type of home. I can tell you that. Okay. It's different. So I'm going to take this hours and we're going to look at it. So tonight, nope, it's still a 4:55. And then tomorrow night, let's see. So today and tomorrow, it's on Georgia, making contact. Just making contact with that dark moon. So it's expressing the dark moon, but it's going to begin here tomorrow night at 9:37 p.m. That's when it begins for Sebastian. And it's going to, let me get it to the exact moment. The exact moment. I'm going to tell you everybody I see. Because I'll be looking at the neighbors and everybody. I know all of Katie and Chris's associates. I know Kathy's associates. So here we go. Right here. Boom, bam, right there. 9:23. So tomorrow night, it's going to begin. And before I begin telling you everything that I'm seeing, let me first, hold on. Let me first show you this. Okay, I saved that. I'm going to show you how many days it's going to be in transit. Just watch this. Just watch this 456 right here. Transpluto is going to be transforming. Transpluto, transforming, right? 1 day, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th day is going to go. So for a whole week. And I began telling you that hunting season has began. And it ends on the 21st. But this transit with Sebastian is going to go through the 23rd. So from today until the 23rd, we can expect a lot. We should expect a lot. We should expect that there are going to be changes to Sebastian's public image. Now, on this day, the 18th, this is a Tuesday. On the 18th, not only is that 456 in transit sitting on Sebastian's midheaven, but there's going to be a breakup with communications. There's going to be a breakup with communications. That breakup with Admetos in Gemini, it's about 2 or more in the communications. What are the communications? Ring cameras, the Secret Service, whatever they have figured out since they took those electronics. Could it be something having to do with the Secret Service? Well, I can tell you one thing. The neighbors, the neighbor in back of Sebastian, his wife is in transit. in a big way. And not only is his wife in transit, the other neighbors are also in transit. I can see that there are things going to be taking place with the neighbors as well, with the neighborhood. It's a lot going on. It hurts my head to even think about it. So when I'm looking at it, it's a lot that's going down. Excuse me. Okay, so what am I seeing? I'm seeing that when this begins, there's already been a shakeup in Missouri. I can see that there's a lot of energy with Ceres, a lot of caring energy with Ceres going to the Secret Service. I can see that there's things going on with Cuba. Things going on with Cuba. And Miss Betty, who lives in Georgia, who thought that she saw Sebastian walking down the road, she's also in transit. This is a collective transit right here with Kronos. It's about timing. It's a devouring energy. And with Miss Betty, it has to do with her Mars, her car, her vehicle. It has to do with when she was at the cemetery. She leaves the cemetery and she drives down the road because this is all in the past. And Seth calls. Months later, he calls and talks to the police who did not know anything about Sebastian being missing. This 217 is Seth. So we're rising with the things of the past with Seth. There's Miss Betty, but that's also Cuba. I'll tell you something else I see too. Remember that dude, Austin Drummond? Things going on with him that day on the 15th? And Edward Snowden, I know that he has issues with the Secret Service. He and Snowden and Drummond are going to be in transit. There's going to be a letting go of some communications with both of them. Just saying. Let me just throw that out there. The communications are reflecting Seth calling the law enforcement. I was on the phone with him when he called. I was actually doing a live when he called. I was on live. I don't know if anybody was in here. I don't remember how many people was in my live, but there wasn't much of us. There wasn't many. We see that Jupiter is on its way tomorrow night. It's at a 2507, right? If we go back and we look at Georgia's Saturn is a 2506, so it's, we're already opposing. There's an opposition with Georgia. And the law, things of the past, Georgia is being opposed with Jupiter. This is Seth, but this is also Melissa. Melissa and Seth share a degree. It's an 854. So I have to include her in this because the moon is reflecting communications with her as well. There's an opposition with Terry Bowersox because he has, no matter what time he's born, he descends with the FBI. The FBI rises at a 2542, and that's where Zeus is coming in. Zeus is going to sit on the FBI ascendant. All the while, it's going to oppose Terry Bowersox. There's an opposition with him that's coming right after this. It'll be on the 16th. Okay, and it's a 24-hour transit. These Zeus, Apollo, Poseidon, those are 24 hours, sometimes longer transits. Hades, and these are collective. This is where a bunch of people, all of us are involved. Sedna, Admitos, Eris, these are 24-hour transits, sometimes longer. Ceres is a 24-hour transit, sometimes longer, and she's going to be in transit for 7 days, sitting on Sebastian's midheaven, opposing the mom, opposing the home. Opposing. There's an opposition here. Do I have a timestamp of that call? What, when Seth called? I probably do. When Seth called Georgia? I probably do. I probably do. Let me look and see. Hold on. I don't know what I would have it under, though. Seth called. How about that? Let me see. I got the timestamp for his sighting. Let's see. I should have written that down. Georgia cop called. There it is, girl. There it is. There it be. Okay, let's look at it. Let's look at Georgia. Let's look at Georgia and the call. Let's just take just a moment and let's look at this. Because I would like to see, good thinking, Shauna. Astrologer, we have to timestamp everything. We got timestamp everything, right? Okay, so let's look at this. Georgia has got like I said, this is where Trump and Georgia connect in a big way. In a big way. They connect here as well with justice. And wouldn't you know that they do? Well, in the 11th house of groups, there's a wake-up call at a 2255 with groups, and it's about children. At 2255, there's a wake-up call. That's why I call Pallas an investigator. But Pallas is in conversation with the moon. We're reflecting with the authority. And he says, the cop says, oh, hey, no, I did not know that Sebastian was missing. I did not know because what? The authority in Sebastian's case evidently hasn't alerted the other agencies across the United States that they got a missing kid. So the responsibility, the accountability, January, because now we're almost a year, okay? No, we're not a year. Yeah. Yeah, we actually are. When this call was made. Interesting. The South Node had just come into Libra. It's about the justice, disordered aggression, a lot of darkness that is surrounding the law enforcement and the health with relationships. So there was a disordered aggression because the officer had no clue that Sebastian was missing. Then we look to Mercury. Mercury is showing us that in the future, communications at a 0047, that's Cuba. And I want to say Ohio too. I want to say Ohio as well. Interesting. This 353 is coming on me and the connection that I share with Heather Cohen, the connection that I share with Tony Mathis. major explosion with the way that I was creating at home because I was on live on YouTube when Seth called. And we're rising with Saturn on the ascendant. Rising with Saturn on the ascendant. And this is everything that's taken place in the past before he made that phone call. Interesting to go back and look at it like this. This 7 is definitely Terry Bowersox. There's a letting go with communications. And it's about the betrayal. This is my South Node, the 1324 with Hades in the 4th house of home. There was a weight on my lunar node, my South Node. And that weight was alleviated when Seth called. When Seth called, that weight was no longer. My Jupiter was being opposed. My Jupiter was being opposed about traveling far. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back now that I could talk that out. Appreciate you. Let's go back. So now we're on the 15th. This is when it begins. And this is when I'm going to start really looking at this a little bit closer. Because the communications are also going to, once they leave, the breakup leaves Sebastian, then it's going to come over that 455 that, guess where, Georgia has. Okay. So it begins here. There is a justice with, look at that. There's a justice. Hold on. Let me go back. Hold on. So when it begins with Sebastian, let me look. Hold on. Damn. Okay, that's it. So when it begins with Sebastian, where is, okay. So on the 14th, that's today. Okay. Let's look at today right now. The moon has already passed over the Saturn with Sebastian. There is a reigniting of the flame with relationships with Seth Rogers and the TBI. There's desires for more accountability and responsibility when it comes to the FBI and the TBI and the other agencies that are involved in Sebastian's case. And like I said, there's going to be a shakeup with Missouri that's coming. The 648, look at that. The 5th house of kids, 648, that's Sebastian's outer wheel. His outer wheel. The outer wheel. Hold on. Let me go to Indiana for a second. Hold on. I've got to walk myself through this first. Let me look at Indiana for just a second. Okay. Remember the 1846, the health was being shaken up? That 1846 with Sebastian's Uranus shows up in the 6th house of health, the everyday with Indiana. That 1846, there's a shakeup. Unusual with health, shakeup. Me and Katie, and the godmom of Sebastian, we all share this 1425. Sebastian has a relationship at a 1219. And the 929 that I was saying that goes to Terry Bowersox that Saturn was coming into, that's also goes to Indiana. So I'm just taking note of that real quick. I'm just wanting to take note. Chiron was at the 1703. The phone call, there's a 1703. Indiana, the way that they shine with the law enforcement, and they're crooked. Because I'm sorry, Indiana has some crooked ass cops. Just look at the Denise Flum case. Look at the Denise Flum case. They're not, they don't have a great reputation. Denise, who went missing out of Connorsville, Indiana. That's exactly the case that I'm talking about. And if there's some values here with Terry Bowersox, well, there is, because he has property that's in Indiana, or he did used to have property that's in Indiana. I'm just noting that right now because I can. All right, so let's go back. That 1703, let me just show you while I was looking at that, because Saturn, during this phone call, yes, we're connecting. Sure are. We're definitely connecting to Georgia during the phone call. But this 844, there's something having to do with the cops, and the reason why they went to the landfill. That's what I'm seeing there. 1703, there's limits and obstacles with authority. And those limits and obstacles, and let me just say, Denise has this. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was things going on with her case. Denise Flum has the 1324. She and I connect through that. So I would not be surprised at all if during the same period of time, during this phone call, that there wasn't things going on with her case. Because her parents have been trying their best to find their daughter before they pass away. I would not be surprised if that was what was going on. There's limits and obstacles that was taking place during this period with the Mars, with the car, with the body. Interesting. Interesting when we look at it that way. And the 2525 is definitely in face chart. The 611 is in Big D, Bryant Guy. No matter what time he's born, he's got that 611. But the state of Indiana, the things that he hides here, the state of Indiana opposes him. All right, let me go back, because I'll be remembering these numbers. I remember these numbers. So right now, let me go back, because right now the transits are showing that we have money. We got other people's money here with Venus. Let's look at Venus. Actually, let's look at this Hygeia, because this is showing communications in the home. Communications and the home, the neighborhood. So Hygeia is, because she is at the same degree that Sebastian has in his natal chart, the outer wheel that he has, that 648. It's very important that we look at this health factor, because there's a quincunx with Mercury right now. Mercury is in retrograde. Mercury has just come over that 456, right? Mercury has been transiting in that 456 since I've been doing this live. Hygeia is in a good standing with Venus. See, it says trine Venus. Other people's money with the grandparents. Other people's money with grandparents. With the investigation. We got a quincunx to Mars. Mars is coming to oppose me. That's okay. Come on. Come on and oppose me. Square Ceres. Square Ceres. So this is squaring the Ceres. Ceres is right here, the 240. Challenging. Okay. Challenging. A square is going to challenge. So we're challenging the values with Georgia, the Secret Service, because that 240 is coming down to a 236 and it's going to ignite a lot of energy with the Secret Service, whether it has anything to do with Sebastian or not. You'll see it in the news. If you're looking for it, you'll see it. Oh, hold on. The moon is showing Homeland Security. That's a Homeland Security with relationships and children. I'm seeing Virginia and Massachusetts are coming into transit. Jupiter is opposing Georgia. We're coming down into transit with Miss Betty and Cuba. And there's about to be a lot of energy, a lot of desires for responsibility and accountability with the FBI and the TBI, the sharing of information. And then there's going to be a wake-up call with the state of Tennessee. There's going to be an opposition with some of the other states, with children, with groups, group homes. $25. Let's look at the next day. So there's going to be a relationship. This could be with the courts, could be with flight, could be about planes, could be about faith coming for the holidays. The moon is in transit in Libra, so the moon is about to oppose Sebastian's own moon. The moon is going to come into an opposition because his moon is a 428 in Aries, and so the moon is setting up and it's going to oppose his own moon. Katie is about to be in transit. Let's look at that. So Katie, Saturday morning, this is going to be about Katie. As soon as this Venus becomes an 1104, she's going to oppose Katie Proudfoot. She's going to oppose. And all the while, Pallas is at the same degree. He's going to be making contact. It's about things of the past. Venus is already opposing her. Her values and money, other people's money, her anger about money and her values, the things that she has hidden with the law enforcement right there. Right there. And what's happening is Mercury is coming to the TBI. The TBI is going back. The TBI is going back over past conversations. They want nothing but this case to be solved. Mercury is coming back down in degree. It's going to leave the TBI. It's going to come over the 353 that I share with Heather and Tony Mathis. That's going to come into fruition. And as you can see, as soon as she has this opposition, that's when the moon comes to that 428 and opposes Sebastian with relationships in the public eye. There's something beginning and ending with the law enforcement. There's that 929 again. Look at that. There's that 929 again. The 929, like I said, that's going to Terry Bowersox and his connection with Indiana. Interesting. And there's a shakeup with communications, with Missouri, this 1319 that goes to the United States and the state of Tennessee. Communications, that would be the Ring cameras and the cams in the car and the Secret Service and all that good jazzy junk, because look, at 238, we're coming down into that 236 where the Secret Service are going to put in a lot of energy. So we have tomorrow afternoon, Katie. I just wonder if she'll give us the 411 if somebody shows up at her house. There is still major transformation with relationships in Georgia. It's about money. Look at that. That's about the past. Past investigations. And it's in good standing with the moon. Law enforcement's like, hey, Katie, what's up, girl? Pallas is going to square Venus. This is going to touch Katie no matter what time she's born. She has an 1104. It's a burden for her. A breakup. And it's with money. Things that she owns. It's about the investigation at the past. And Mars is coming to bring us new information. Mars is coming, going to bring us new information on Sebastian. Let's go the next day. Let's go. This is the 16th. So on the 16th, my values are opposed. Going to be a relationship that is going to bring Eric Craddock a conscious raising experience. This is the same degree that they share with, that he shares with Trump, with Donald Trump. Kimberly, where's that Amish community? I'm interested to know. Where's that Amish community? Because I've looked into some Amish communities. There's that 1219 the next day. That 1219 that goes to Indiana. So we're looking at Indiana. There's already been things going down on the 16th. New information. The lunar nodes of fate are now in Kansas. Of course, it's just sitting there. There is Chris Carr's wife right there. Where's the Amish place, Kimberly? Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah, I don't think that he could eat when he wanted to either. And I do think he's also alive. Okay, if you're talking about Kimberly, if you're talking about the one that Seth checked out, yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. But when Seth went there, I won't speak for Seth, actually. I'll let him speak on that if he wants to. I will not speak on that unless he wants that known. But yes, that is true. Very much true, y'all. So we do have the lunar nodes of fate during this time period when Sebastian's going to be, his public image is going to be changed. There is a relationship that comes to Craddock with the higher learning. This is on Sunday. And the lunar nodes are showing the fate with the relationship in Kansas. There's already been all kinds of energy going down with the Secret Service. And this 2333 is one of the neighbors. Okay. So when I tell you that the neighbors are all in this, these days that Sebastian is going to be transformed in the public eye, and I tell you that the neighbors are showing up, they are. They are. Actually, the 16th, there's going to be a lot of information, a lot of wisdom about Summer Wells. Summer Wells has a 1634 in her chart, and she shares this degree with Stephen Crabtree. I'm going to look at both of them. I'm looking at both Stephen Crabtree and Summer Wells being in transit, sharing the wisdom on the 16th. Oh, Shauna, thank you, babe. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat, baby. You're a sweetheart. You're just so sweet. Yes, we are not going to stop until we can locate Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. It's not going to happen. It's not going away. We're just going to keep on keeping on. So on the 16th, I definitely see where now we have a major opposition to Georgia. Mrs. Carr is heavily in the transits. Don't know what's going on with her, but she's heavily showing up. I have definitely Miss Betty on the 16th. Not only is Miss Betty, but that 1650 also goes to and connects to Cuba. I'm seeing a lot of things coming with Cuba and the ship, right? I talked to you guys the other day about the ship, the Gerald R. Ford ship that was commissioned out of Norfolk, Virginia, that is in the Caribbean. There are definitely things that are going to be coming about in the end of November in a big way. All right, so I'm seeing that there is definitely things that are going on with the neighbors. Definitely. Look, the dark moon is still in the 12th house for Sebastian. It still has not made it to that ascendant. And when that dark moon comes to Sebastian's ascendant, you're going to know it. And it's going to oppose relationships. All right, so let's go the next day because we have all these days. This is Jeff's birthday on the 17th. This is a Monday. So Monday. Now what? Now what are we looking at on Monday? Well, the TBI has already been shaken up. The TBI gets shaken up at a 2938. So Sunday night, the TBI gets shaken up. They have a lot of disordered aggression when it comes to we the people, everything that we're talking about. They have a lot of issues with things that we are saying, what's being said, what's not being said. Like I said, the neighbors are all in the transits. Now, come Monday, lots of magnetism, lots of magnetism with the law, with the FBI, they're, they're under the gun themselves. Okay. There's a lot of wisdom going down with Massachusetts and the FBI. Massachusetts and the FBI. Let's just go ahead and look at that. Okay. Let me just show you that because I have a feeling I know what that is. Massachusetts and the FBI. Let's see. FBI and DEA raid Massachusetts governor's office. Okay, there it is. That's a day ago. Massachusetts police corruption exposed. No shit, Sherlock. Oh shit. I've been saying that for years. Jennifer Fay went missing out of Brockton, Massachusetts. Why? Because of the police corruption with that. With the Coca-Cola. That's the reason why she was never found. Shit. It's because of the Coca-Cola. This is big. Big, big, big. And it's only just begun. It's only just begun because Massachusetts, this has been going on since the 70s. Okay? The 70s. It's about damn time. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. So, that's why I was just saying that I saw Massachusetts. And now Massachusetts are going to have major problems here with other people's money because guess what? They're corrupt. And the FBI is showing a reflection on Monday with the corrupt police in Massachusetts. This is the Saturn of Massachusetts, 1635. Sure enough. So when I tell you something, I'm not just pulling it out of thin air. Okay? I'm not pulling it out of thin air. It may sound like I am, but I'm not. I've memorized a bunch of numbers. On this day, at this time, you can see that the 933 is going to come over that 929 that Bowersox has. This 145, that is the same degree in which Kathy Bowersox has her Saturn in Pisces. Her Saturn in Pisces is a 145. Well, that's coming on then, on the 17th, on Monday. And Mr. Bowersox is going to be opposed with the law. The law opposes him. And it's not just the law that's opposing him, it's the FBI. The FBI opposes. So the FBI has a 2542 in Aries here on their descendant. No matter what time Terry Bowersox is born, he has a 2542 in Aries. That means that he sits here on the descendant of the FBI. It's not a good place to be. Not a good place to be. And the FBI, that degree is where they rise in Libra. The magnetism. Remember when everybody was seeing the auras? You know that aura that you see, that you call northern lights, is from a coronal mass ejection from the sun. It creates, if it's earth directed, it comes from the sun to the earth in a cloud as a storm, and it buffers our magnetic field. It creates radio blackouts, creates issues with our communications, with the radio waves. That's the shield of the earth. The magnetism, the magnetosphere, that magnetic shield that you have around you is Zeus. This is the aura, okay? This is aura. It's the same thing. The magnetism, if I say magnetism, there's something that's being magnetized to you. But in this case, it's the justice because it's in Libra. Libra is about justice. The justice is going to be magnetized to Katie Proudfoot because she has a magnetism in Virgo that's a 2542 no matter what time she's born. And she is magnetized to Terry Bowersox with medications. He's not a good person, in my opinion, and I have that right. So, with all that being said, the 17th is going to show a magnetism with Terry Bowersox, with Katie, all the while corruption with the Coca-Cola is happening in Massachusetts in a big way. All right. And would you say that that's probably what is up with the Secret Service too? Maybe. Maybe. There's a crackdown, right, on the Coca-Cola with Cuba. Who was in Cuba? Remember? Who was stationed in Cuba? Y'all do know, right? Who was stationed in Cuba? Who would know people in Cuba? Chris. Chris Proudfoot. If there's anybody that know anybody in Cuba, it would be him. Yep. On the money, honey. So the 17th, that's still, a major transformation with Sebastian. And I have to say that I can't wait to see what this is going to work itself out because there's an investigation. There's some things that are coming against Texana. It's coming. It's coming, honey. Thinking you're big, big and mad. Yeah, it's gonna come. You're gonna get an opposition with you. I mean, we've all got oppositions, right? There's going to be a divine justice I can see that's coming with Missouri during this time. And then this 457 is coming down. There's about to be a breakup with Sebastian and communications here. So let's keep going. Let's go the next day. So I'm really excited to see what this is going to look like when it comes against Texana. All right, here we go. Let me tell you who I see here on the 18th. This is on a Tuesday. I can see that Mars is in that first house with Sebastian. The dark moon has still not come to Sebastian's ascendant, but the sun is coming. The sun is coming to shine a light on that ascendant degree with Sebastian. I see that. Looks like Fish 6 is going to want some money. He's going to want some money. Maybe he's given some money. He's wanting some money on the 18th, possibly. It's a reigniting of the flame with the FBI. There's limits and obstacles when it comes to the TBI and the taking of electronics. Because let me tell you why. It's because the TBI have not taken any electronics of the family and friends. Family, friends, no electronics have been taken. That's a problem. That's a problem. TBI, not good. There's a lot of energy coming to all the problems that Chris Proudfoot has. It's just not good. There's a lot of energy there. He's probably got a headache on Tuesday, the 18th, about that money. Let's go ahead and look at Sebastian's chart with this because I'm seeing that there's the breakup. Now we've got a breakup with the communications here. There's still a lot of wisdom about the BS that goes on in Massachusetts with the corrupt police and judges, okay? Let me just go ahead and take it a step further because Massachusetts has major problems, and they have for many, many years. Many years. And I'm glad to see something going down to finally bring the truth. Let's look at this, though. I want to show you, let's duel it out with Sebastian's chart. This is big to me. This is big. This time period with Sebastian is a big time period for me. And it is for you guys because we're going to learn some things together. That's what we do. We watch. We watch and we observe. Sorry, I'm not reading the chat. Didn't they take the electronics? Yeah, they did. Hillbilly Express, they took the electronics. They just didn't take the electronics of family and friends. And it's taken them a long time to take their electronics. Like, what is going on here? I mean, what's going on here? Don't tell me that you're going to leave no stone left unturned when you ain't even unturned. You ain't even looked at the stones. There's a bunch of stones that's been not turned over or nothing. I mean, this has been Seth's problem. You know, this has been Seth's problem all along. I get it. I would be furious. Furious. Okay. The reason why I wanted to duel this out is because I want to show y'all what is happening on the 18th. What's happening on the 18th? Because we're going to make contact here. Okay. We're making contact with some degrees in this chart. We're going to make contact here. So making contact, this 456 is making contact with the midheaven and the IC. Even though there's a breakup here, Mitos is here, okay? But when she reaches that 456, she is going to square up here and here. She's going to square up with Ceres. There's no care. There's no care. I don't know what you're doing in there, Bubba, but go to sleep. I don't care what happened. There's no care. There's none. There's no care. Period. This 2329 is going to make contact. So that means that there is some values here in the value house. This is the head. Aries is head. It's competition. It's warring. And there's an expansion here with Jupiter, with the law, with the values, with money. Follow the money. Let me just go ahead. Hold on. I don't even, I'm about just not even caring right now. Hold on, let me look. I pulled this up because I want you to see Terry. You see the 2329 here? You see that 2329? That's the physician Apollo. The physician Apollo, who brings enlightenment, who is the doctor. The doctor. So this 2329, 2329, so Chiron is going to be touching, making contact. There's going to be an expression, okay? Because even though Chiron, right? Even though Chiron is here in the 5th house of kids and creativity, the competition, the head wound, the head, the chromosomal deletion, the head, there's pain here. And there's an expansion with that pain with Sebastian, and it connects to the physician Apollo of Terry Bowersox. And I'm not picking on Terry Bowersox. I'm telling you, that is what it is. His physician, no matter what time he's born, it's a 2329. It's critical with him and the law enforcement and the justice. This is critical with him. With that physician, Apollo. And it's about his work. What does he do for a living? What's Mr. Bowersox do for a living? There's a lot of questions. I mean, on the map, I've got that he used to work for a motor coach company. And a motor coach company would definitely, if you are living in a motor coach, you know, that would explain that Uranus. So, Mr. Terry, I'm giving you a heads up, dude. You got some problems ahead. And the ring cameras of the neighbors may definitely hold more than what we have been told. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So what's going to happen? On the 18th, Mercury is now coming down in degree in Sag and is going to oppose the Proudfoots, Melissa, her daddy, all of them. All of them. The moon is now in Scorpio. It's about the money, other people's money, using other people's money, using other people's resources. We're reflecting on that money, honey. Reflecting on the hidden taxes. Reflecting on the SNAP benefits. Right? That's what we're reflecting on. And there's a justice that is coming to Eric Craddock, to his Jupiter, and it's opposing the home life of faith during this period of time. All the while, Uranus is coming down to shake things up with Sebastian and his Venus. The shoes, anything that he would hold in possession. So we have a big day on the 18th. There's a big day on the 18th. And then once Cupid comes to that 818, it's going to be all over Mr. Craddock, right there. This is Craddock. This 818 is Craddock all day long. There's going to be a major transformation with the FBI. There's a shakeup with communications with Sebastian. There's a huge weight that has come on him and his desires to go far. There is things still going on with the neighbors. Neighbors are being talked about. There's an opposition with Texana. This is also a big day on the 20th, guys. I can't tell you just how much that each day I'm going to be watching and observing and calling it out as I see it. But the 18th, the 19th, and the 20th seems to be the peak. We're peaking on these days. Now, let me save this. Oh, let me go to Missouri. Let me look at Missouri real quick. Let me see if it's Missouri. Yes. So not only is this going to create a lot of energy for Eric Craddock, but Eric Craddock has a connection with Missouri, and it's with the flame of life in the fourth house of home that is ruled by Leo. Leo is kids. And I'm going to start now showing you a little something, something. Okay. TB left a review on their business, the RVs by their garage. It's a house that they work on. Steadfast RVs is actually a house. Let me show you something. Hold on. And then I'm going to come back to this. Hold on. I'm being swayed here. I was going to get to the map, but let me go ahead and get to the map right now. This is where Sebastian Ceres is going. This is Alabama and Georgia. Okay. If we go to the RV place that you're talking about, actually, let me just show you where MCI is with Terry. I think it's called MCI. Yeah. This is the motor coach. This is the motor coach home where Terry either works or used to work. This is where he works. And if we go to the RV Steadfast, I think I have it on this one. That is where they used to live. Let me go to the actual address. Hold on. I know where it's at. Let me go down here in Goodlettsville. I need to go up a little bit. I think where you're talking about, Alicia. No, it's not called that. Let's see. I don't want to dox anybody here. Well, hold on. Hold on. You said it's near Honeysuckle. What? What? What's near Honeysuckle? An RV place? It's near Honeysuckle. There's Honeysuckle. That's in a neighborhood. I'm not real sure what you're talking about, babe. Steadfast. Hold on. RV service. Steadfast. Let me look. Hold on. Let me see what you're talking about. He left a review, and what does the review say? What's the review say? Let's look at it. Hold on. Raindrop. Let's get it right here. RV Steadfast. What's it say? He left a review. Let me pull up my addresses. Yeah, that's not by Honeysuckle. So that's near Vietnam Vet, hun. Honeysuckle is by his house. I know where you're talking. I've got this on the other map. Okay. Yeah, I've got this on the other map. Silver's on the scene. I've got it on the other one where he leaves the Texas Roadhouse. Yeah. So this isn't where he worked, though. This isn't where he worked. Inspections and repair with RV. Tennessee warring at home with vulcanus and head wound, the same degree as FBI venous and cancer. So that could have something to do with it. You just never know. You never know. Where's the missing? Let me look at this. Yeah, no missing. Missing is over here. That's the Transpluto that was taking place. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know what you're, I know which one you're talking about, but that's not where he was working. Okay. And I guess he left a review for them fixing his, yeah, you can find it. Okay, so I'm going to go back because I'm not ready. I'm not ready for the map just yet, y'all. I'm not ready for that. Let's stay on task. Y'all stay with me here because this is important. And then we can look at the map. Majorly important. So if we know that Craddock, no matter what time Craddock is born, he has a station. His Chronos is stationing, a hard station at an 8:18. And this is about communications. He connects to Missouri. I've been to Missouri. I connect him into Missouri. Jeff's been to Missouri. He connects to Missouri, okay? And I just wonder if Mr. Craddock has, because he has a connection to Missouri. He definitely does, okay? He has a connection to Missouri. Mrs. Bowersox connects to Missouri here through her Saturn. That 145, okay? Sebastian has a 1215 in his chart. He has a 2642 in his chart. And Missouri is actually opposing him. He has a 2642 physician, Apollo, who is opposing him. Missouri opposes Sebastian. Sebastian has a 931 series in his chart. He connects to Missouri here at home in the third house of communications at home. That 931. So these connections matter. And I want you to notice that there's a 2928 in Missouri's chart in the seventh house of relationships and partnerships. And that is exactly where Neptune is going to be and Uranus is going to be at that 2928 degree. There's going to be a shakeup that's going to come to Missouri. Do y'all understand what I'm saying here? Do you understand what I'm saying? This is a big deal. This is a very big deal. Neptune is going to make contact in the first house. It's rising. This event that I've got, that I stopped it, is rising at a 145. It's the values, the structure of the government of Missouri with other people's money in the 8th house. Craddock, that 818 is connected to the flame of life. The flame of life. This is going to be in transit all day. And I don't know if Craddock realizes it or not, but the connection that he has with Missouri is in play all day on the 20th. And we are going to see things going on in Missouri, and it's going to be a shakeup because Uranus is going to shake things up. Uranus is going to make contact with Missouri's Uranus at a 29-28. It's critical. Will we see a earthquake? Will we see some type of, because we're talking about 6 days from now. Sebastian is still going to be in transit. Ceres is still going to be sitting right on his midheaven. No matter what time Kathy Bowersox is born, she connects to the FBI at a 142. She and the FBI are going to be in transit, transforming things up. The outer wheel of the state of Tennessee, their 12th and their 6th house, is a 1421. Tennessee is going to be fated at this time as well. There's things that we're going to learn on the 20th that are going to shake things up. And I don't know if it's going to be weather related, if it's going to, I don't know, but this appears to be something to do with Missouri. Y'all tell me. It definitely appears to be something is going to go down with Missouri. All the while, Sebastian and everybody else with Tennessee, it's a transitory energy. This 1531 in the 5th house of kids, that goes to Virginia, but it also goes to Sebastian's chart. The 1531 with Sebastian, let me just show you. The 1531, that is his desires. Sebastian's desires are a 1531, okay? That 1531 is going to be weighted down. He's weighted down. Why is he weighted down that day? All day. This is a 24-hour transit. It's going to be weighted down all day. The FBI, the 1648, the FBI is about to come into transit, and there is going to be a devouring energy with the FBI on the 21st. Is it a wait because Sebastian is waiting to be found on some land? Is it a wait because Sebastian is in Missouri? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm here for it. And I want to see how this is all going to work itself out. But there's going to be limits and obstacles. That 2512 with the TBI. Let me bring up the TBI. It's going to be limits and obstacles with the TBI. And let me tell you why. Let me show you why. Because on the 20th, actually, it'll have eased up. They have a 2514 in their chart. But guess what? The TBI also has a 2642 in their chart. Let me show you. Let's just go ahead and look at the TBI with Missouri, so you can see what I'm talking about. So we know that Eric Craddock has a connection with Missouri. Well, we know that Missouri is opposing Sebastian here, but here in the third house of communications, Missouri is bringing a justice to some land, some farmland with Sebastian, working on a farm. I mean, I'm just, throwing the different scenarios out there. Okay. But this 2642 is where Missouri has limits and obstacles about things of the past with prisoners, hospitals, and hospitals. Okay. So 2642, 2642. So they are making a connection. They're making a connection with one another. This connection that the TBI has is with Missouri's Saturn. Sure is. Before the dark moon comes to Sebastian, it's going to come to Missouri. It's going to come to Missouri first. Then the dark moon is going to sit on Sebastian after it leaves Missouri. Saturn is going to be at a 2514. It's going to come down in degree. Saturn is going to be at a 2522. It's just going to be making contact. Lunar nodes of fate are going to come here. Lunar nodes are going to be at a 1426, going to make contact. It's going to express itself. Doesn't have to be the same sign. But the 2642, okay, this 2642, this 2642 is also where Sebastian has a physician. This physician is in Libra. This 2642 and this 2046 oppose one another. Okay, so Eris, the 5th and the 11th house are opposing one another with the TBI. Let me show you. Let me show you. TBI. You gotta get with it, man. Gotta get with it with your oppositions and your challenges with Sebastian. The TBI has a 2046. So their Pluto and Sebastian's Eris oppose one another. The head, the fighting, the warring about school, is where the TBI is not seeing things correctly. Sebastian has a physician. Sebastian has a doctor. Where's those medications? Where's the medications with Sebastian? Because the TBI has the flame of life with that physician. And this physician is opposing Missouri. There's an opposition with Missouri here. Limits and obstacles with Sebastian in Missouri. So whatever the TBI thinks that's happened to Sebastian, they could be wrong. And they need new eyes on the case. They need new eyes on the case. But this is the day. This is the big day for Sebastian. and Missouri, the neighbors, their cams, and where Sebastian could be found. And I'm really hopeful that by the time this dark moon comes to Sebastian's ascendant, that we will have already seen a lot come to fruition that's going to change. Let's get it to the 6/26/54 because this is when it's going to hit. Missouri first. It's going to hit Missouri first. And this is going to be the 22nd. Let's look. Sebastian is still in transit on the 22nd, the evening of the 22nd. One of the neighbors. I see one of the neighbors. It's got some enlightenment here. One of the neighbors has enlightenment. The nodes have just went over the TBI and their connection with Alabama. Devouring energy with the FBI. Now that Venus is being shaken up, Sebastian's Venus is given a little shaky shake. It's about things that he owns, things that he possesses, things that he owns. They're going to be shaken up with the group. Saturn is coming to the state of Tennessee to station. We're about to have a transformation with Missouri, with Pluto. There's a reigniting of a flame with the TBI. Limits and obstacles with Michael Proudfoot. And we've got a disordered aggression of darkness that has come over Missouri Saturday night. So the 22nd, that dark moon is coming to sit, actually on the 23rd, it's coming to sit on Sebastian, right there. So the 23rd, the dark moon is going to sit. When we wake up Sunday morning on the 23rd, there is still a major transformation that has taken place with Sebastian. There is still a devouring energy with things that the FBI are learning. The physician Apollo is coming against one of the neighbors. And man, Sebastian, as this is taking place, with this disordered aggression, with the dark moon sitting on his ascendant, I see Texana right here too, with her values. And there's that 522. 522. Let's go back to the Missouri chart. I'm seeing that girl, man. And I'm also seeing an opposition at this moment in time with that little boy, Blake Dickus. It's crazy that I'm seeing that. Let's see. Look at that. So the values of the 522, because remember, I'm good with numbers. And I remember them. I remember. So on the 23rd, the 145 that Kathy Bowersox has and that Missouri has making contact here. Dark moon has already went over Missouri and their health. Now the dark moon is sitting on Sebastian, opposing relationships. And there's a big one. Ceres is in that 10th house, bringing us a lot of publicity with it. Right? But this is the lunar nodes of fate. At this moment, the lunar nodes of fate and the quick movement of energy that's going into that 8th house. Man, we're going to see a little something, something here. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm here for it. I hope it's not going to be anything detrimental to his health, but I am hopeful that this time period is going to bring something more to the table than what has been transpiring since he's been missing. I don't care who you want to blame for Sebastian going missing, okay? Excuse me, but I'm connecting the dots here. And I'm trying to think of all different places that Sebastian could be, not just in the neighborhood, not just, deceased somewhere, but actually somewhere else. Actually somewhere else. The courts, the DA, whatever information that they have collected, I hope that they are going to be coming up with something different to get different results, because we need that in this case in a major way. I mean, obviously, all the cases, the missing kids. But for now, we have to go through these, we have to go through the different transits, and we just have to ride the wave with it. And as we ride the wave, look, let me just tell you something. This is a big day for not just when we wake up Sunday morning. This isn't just big for, Sebastian either. His sister, her Neptune in the 12th house is a 1412. His sister, let me repeat that. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, stepsister, Chris's daughter, has a Neptune in her 12th house. It's about prisons, hospitals, things of the past with medications, what have you, doctors. Things of the past. And her Neptune is a 1412 in Pisces. She's fated. When we wake up Sunday morning on the 23rd, that little girl is fated. Is she going to be here for the holidays? I'd say so. Unless something prevents her from coming before the 23rd. Is she going to be here for the holidays? Because something is happening here. It's cloudy. It's foggy. And she's fated with her Neptune. Or she's not seeing things clearly, or maybe she is. Maybe she's intuiting. And that neighbor is definitely in transit. We got a neighbor that's in transit during this time. The 2046 that Sebastian and the TBI share, that 2046 that they have, that's in an opposition with Sebastian, the TBI, and they have a 2046 that TBI has their Pluto and Libra. Sebastian's Eris in Aries, the goddess of war and strife. It's going to be in transit with Venus. But right before that, in the middle of the night, the state of Tennessee is going to get a lead. There'll be information coming in through the media. I just think that this is a time that we really want to sit up in our chairs, take note. The 123, the sun is going to shine on things of the past with the state of Tennessee, with their Hades. Their Hades is a 123 in Sag in the 12th house. It's about things of the past, prisons, hospitals, things of the past. With the investigation, with the courts, that 123 is going to oppose Mexico at that moment. Because Mexico has a 123 as well. There's going to be a lot of energy coming against Chris. Going to be a lot of energy coming against his mother. I also see that during this period of time, I'm also seeing, not only do I see that, but I see Summer's case in this as well, but it's not what you think. It's with Don Sherfy Jr. Don Sherfy Jr. Don Sherfy Jr. All this other chatter has nothing to do with it. I'm not seeing that. Still seeing Sherfy Jr. right there. Huh. And this is coming to Summer's first house. Interesting. Interesting. Today's your grandson's birthday, y'all. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yeah, I'm more interested in where Terry Bowersox works. More interested in where he works, what he does. You bring too many people into the mix and you got loose lips. They stick together. We've seen that. They're sticking together. They're sticking together. There's limits and obstacles here with one of the neighbors, though. And I can't show you guys all the charts that I'd like to show you just because I think that it's wrong for me to do that, but I can sure as hell tell you. I can sure tell you that these two that are coming together, Mars and this relationship, you know, I'm not sure if Daniel Bowersox would have a pilot license or not, but it does make you wonder. Let me go. Oh, hold on. Let me save this. Let's look at this map for a second. Let me go on to the other. So when I first started, I was talking about the Villa Rica. This is where his series is. Okay, it's Alabama and Georgia. Here is Villa Rica, right here. So when I first started, I was telling you about Mrs. Betty She called it in. She said nobody believed her. And I got her birth time. I got all the specifics. And she said, I really think that I saw Sebastian walking with some other men, older men, on the side of the road. He didn't have any shoes on. He had all black. And I thought, isn't that odd that he's walking on the side of the road with white socks? It's almost like they'd given him socks, new socks to walk with, because they were still white. They weren't black. They weren't dirty. She thought it was odd. She looks in the rearview mirror and she just can't stop thinking about it. Then she sees where Sebastian is missing. And she calls the TBI and she says, she just doesn't think that anybody took her seriously. She calls the local police, yada, yada. All right. So she comes down this highway. She leaves Villarica. Okay. I'm just going to draw a little line here. She leaves Villarica. She comes down this highway and she goes into Carrollton, Georgia. That's the way she's going. She's going this way. All right. She's going this way. Well, this is where the natal MC and the series in his that was being challenged the next day. This is where series is going to be transformed in the public eye, and it's coming this way. It may not come all the way down to Georgia, but it is coming this way if we were to look at it on the map. The missing transformation, the Transpluto, is coming this way. It's a 344 degree. Limits and obstacles with authority is here. Major transformation with health is taking place. And the DA is here as well. This is where the DA is magnetized with his aura, right? Because Zeus is about the aura. It's about your magnetism, your magnetic field. The earth has a magnetic field. You have a magnetic field. It's your aura. That's what Zeus is. It can be depleted, right? You get really sick. You can be unalived, even when it comes to Zeus. Because it's your magnetism, your magnetic field of health. All right, so the DA is here. The missing is here. We've got TBI. Their Jupiter in Virgo in the 5th house of kids is here. We've got the state of Tennessee. The state of Tennessee's Mercury during the missing event was being opposed. Okay, the sun was opposing Tennessee in Pisces. Saturn was opposing Tennessee. Mercury was opposing Tennessee with their Virgo energy. The Virgo Pisces axis was being opposed. Major challenges were taking place in Tennessee when Sebastian went missing. And this is the energy that would have been opposed right here. Their Mercury, their moon, their MC, because their MC is in Virgo. So they were having major oppositions, especially with communications. And when I say communications, I'm talking about the Ring cameras. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They were being opposed with electronics, with electrical engineering that was playing tricks on the authority. That's my opinion. Okay. So not only do we have the missing, not only do we have TBI here, not only do we have the DA, we've also got the state of Tennessee. Okay. Eric Craddock is over here in Alabama. Of course, I don't know his exact birth time, so he could even have some stuff over here that I'm not seeing. There's the Secret Service. That's where their wisdom is going. And look, you see all kinds of different um this is the let me just go down and that's the sheriff's office. That's where Seth called. And their moon, the state of Tennessee, their moon is here. And it brings a lot of warring at home. Brings a lot of warring at home with them. There's Kathy. Miss Kathy. She's also coming in strong right here. This is her Uranus. She gets shaken up with her magnetism here in Carlton. There's a lodge, some addresses. This is where, let me see. This is where Francis was born, right here. So Francis was born in Moreland, Georgia. It's about 40 miles away from Villarica and Carlton, Georgia. But look, this is where she's from. Francis was from, she's born here. It's where the DA's going. It's also where the missing event is going. Let's see. There's the FBI. This angle touches the body of the FBI in a hard way. And it does. And it's with groups and children. The way that they create. So I think that the FBI and the TBI, if they haven't checked this out yet, they may want to. They may want to by now. This is an associate of Katie right here in Union City and Fairburn. Katie she has associates here in Georgia. I mean, she's got associates. Her and Chris have associates all over the United States. But I mean, this is, I've got all of these addresses here because there's an associate. I don't think that they took it out of the family myself. I don't think nobody else knows where Sebastian's at except them. I don't think that there were anybody else involved besides them. But here's Chris. And I'm only showing you where Francis is born because it's right there. Here's Katie at the sheriff's office. And she shines here. Why would Katie shine here? If Sebastian were to be found, of course she would shine here. She's going to look innocent. God's will is being done here with her and her son, her literal son in Virgo. Here's Seth. His Jupiter's in Virgo. Of course it's in Virgo. Of course it's coming down here because he called the law enforcement. Jupiter is representing the law here. The justice, the long travels, the things that we are learning. He taught them that his son is missing because they didn't know, had no clue. And then Chris, this is where his Venus in Leo conjuncts Mars in Virgo. And his Venus is critical with attention and children. The Mars is suggestive of changing health, fortunes with a lot of action. This is about a vehicle, a body, movement. This would show that Chris would be in control of any type of vehicle. If a vehicle came, Chris would be in control of that vehicle. And he slows Sebastian down with being found. Let's look at Michael Proudfoot. See if Michael Proudfoot is here. Yes, he is right there. Michael's Pluto. A major transformation in Virgo. And it's conjunct Zeus and Virgo. So we have magnetism with Michael. Lots of transformation with health. And this is going to be showing up with Pluto on Sebastian's 18th birthday. And all of these Virgo angles, all of this Virgo energy is opposing all that Pisces energy that was taking place when he went missing, when he left the roadhouse. And so if we are under the assumption Michael is or was a truck driver, it's Chris Proudfoot's dad. So see, Chris Proudfoot, his dad, Michael, his stepmother, Linda, and the Bowersocks, they all conjured up plans to take Faith away from Nina, Chris's ex. And it would not surprise me if they have conjured up a plan to take Sebastian away from their dad, from his dad. They seem to have a pattern of trying to fix, manage, control other people's life and doing so in a way that isn't lawful or with any type of ethics or morals. Obviously, this is not a slam dunk, you know? I mean, if it was, Sebastian would already be found. But I tell you what, when we look at Sebastian leaving from his house and that shakeup with Uranus, that shakeup with Uranus is going here. And if Sebastian is close to his home, this is where we want to look. Where this shakeup was taking place with Uranus. And he wouldn't be far. This would be the angle. This would be it right here. And if he's not far, there was definitely a shakeup and there was definitely foul play. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because there was a relationship. And this is going over the new construction, Ward Lane. We could find Sebastian here. We've already looked here. We've looked here. But those big manholes would go, all that water would go to the creeks, and they would go down this way. Okay? They would ride the creek. It would ride the creek, and it would keep on riding the creek, and he would be stuck in a culvert. And that's all I've got for today. That's all I've got. I mean, 3 hours long, 3.5 hours long. I can keep talking about this, and I will keep looking at it. You know, I will keep looking at it. But I'm giving you the different scenarios of what I'm feeling like the series is going to mean. And it is about the care. It's about the medications. It's about agriculture, farming, religion, beliefs in oneself. And I don't feel like Sebastian had a good self-esteem because of his mother and stepmother. I mean, mother and stepdad. And I stand on that. I stand on it, man. But anyway, I'm going to jump off here. I appreciate you guys listening to me talk about this. I'm still not feeling all that great. I'm going to take some medicine, probably lay down and give myself a break because I work this every day. All kinds of cases I'm working. All kinds of cases I'm working. Not just Sebastian's. People that y'all have never even heard of. I'm constantly working and looking for these kids, looking for these adults that are missing. And it takes its toll. It'll take its toll. So, again, I appreciate you guys. And I'm going to end this stream now. Peace out, guys.
Clean like your soul won't be forgotten. We stand strong for you, never give up. Seek justice and truth. Day and night we search. Community gathers, wipe the tears away. Rise up for you, Sebastian strong. Sebastian's army, we march on. Each day comes and goes, hope in our hearts. You're never alone, we'll bring you home. Wish it was a dream, babe. It lingers on, but strength we carry will keep you strong. Rise up for you, Sebastian strong. Sebastian's army, we march on. Each day comes and goes, hope in our hearts. You're never alone, we'll bring you home. Wish it was a dream, hey, it lingers on, but strength we carry